Where do I even begin? Like, literally, let's go. What a game. Literally 5 minutes left in the game. I was sitting here, if you saw my Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter at RamiB, I was complaining about how the season is over. If we lose, coaching staff sucks, move on to next season. Like, it was a wrap. And then in a span of literally 5 minutes and 30 seconds or so, Tom Brady, the mother GOAT, does what he does best and leads us on to 2 scoring drives to take the lead. And damn, what a game, what a game, what a game. Crazy roller coaster of emotions. But anyways, before I get into my reaction, I'm RamiB. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I post weekly Buccaneer reaction videos. And this was one of the crazier games I've ever felt. The Rams game didn't feel, you know what I'm saying? The Rams game, we weren't down 2 scores. We had to make a comeback with less time, but no timeouts. This one, with the way the offense has been playing the entire game, the 10-point lead felt like it was impossible to climb, but a 13-point lead, yeah, that we had no shot. And the fact that we were able to drive down when the offense looked completely anemic the entire game and do that, it was a game for the ages. But we won 17-16 with 3 seconds left in the game. We pulled it off. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 350 yards of total offense, 274 passing and 76 rushing, compared to the Saints, who had 298 total yards, 232 passing and 66 rushing. Tom Brady did not have the best game up until those last 2 drives. He had 36 completions for 36 of 54 with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Horrible pick, looked like those Jameis picks where you don't see the underneath linebacker. Looked like the game was over. I think that was before the end of the first half, I want to say, or maybe early second half, and then Rachaad White had that fumble later. It was a mess. Like, this game did not go our way. But in the end, we pulled it off. Run game was a little more effective. Leonard Fournette, 10 carries, 49 yards. So 4.9 yards a carry, and Rachaad White, 9 for 28. You know, solid day, 76 yards rushing. The way the game was playing out, we didn't have to throw a lot, so it makes sense. On the receiving end, Chris Godwin had 8 catches for 63 yards. Should have had a 10-ish, little less than 10-yard touchdown pass to win the game, but it got negated by, Donovan Smith's second holding penalty, which for the night, which put him at 32 since he entered the league, which is the most in the NFL. Horrendous. But you know, I'm not gonna sulk on the negatives. Mike Evans had 4 catches for 59 yards. That is a whole nother topic in itself of how we didn't really target him until the end of the first half, and literally when we target him, good things happen. At the drive, the second to last scoring drive, we had the defensive pass interference on that deep ball to Evans, and it seems like he's literally a magnet for defensive pass interferences. So I don't know why we don't just target him more and more and more and take advantage of that. But he has 761 total yards for the season. He needs 239 left over the next 5 games, which is about 47.8 yards a game. We can definitely get it. I would rather us have a game, maybe San Francisco has a tough defense, maybe the week after against Cincinnati or something, get him 100 something, just to make sure it's at ease. And obviously touchdowns, he only has 3 for the season, so he's not going to break 10 or anything like that. Rachaad White had 6 catches for 41 yards, and he had the game-winning touchdown at the end of regulation. Leonard Fournette, 6 for 32. Some key pickups in the at the final drive, at least key runs. If I don't remember if he did have a couple of dump offs. Julio Jones, 3 catches for 28 yards. He had that 5-6 yard slant, and then that beautiful catch before the game-winning touchdown. Honestly, when I was watching it live, it looked like it was a pick, but I guess he just snatched it up so fast and came down beautiful. K. Dotton had 6 for 28 and 1 touchdown, which was the second to last touchdown to make it a 6-point game. Offensively, I can't praise the offense. There's definitely a night and day difference. Mina Kimes, the analyst, she tweeted something along the lines of our no huddle offense versus our huddle offense is split by this giant gap that's the size of the Pacific Ocean. And it's true. When we're scripted, the offense seems, you know, dysfunctional, out of rhythm. Nobody has good energy. But it seems like those literally 2 drives show you that when Brady is calling the shots and calling the plays, we're able to move the ball at will. And even if we don't get completions, you could see the plays developing appropriately, which goes back to Byron Leftwich not really knowing how to call plays. Even the use of runs on that final drive, this 2 final drives, when it was like 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, you know, we did the shotgun handoff draw to Leonard Fournette. I think it was all those times to Leonard Fournette, maybe Rachaad White, but get him, you know, catch him off guard. We're down, they think we're going to pass, do that. And also it helped that the Saints were running with 6 defensive backs in there and not really, you know, preparing for the run. But that's how you call the plays. That's how you create a game plan and rhythm. And it seems like when Brady is in charge of calling the plays, he knows how to do it, and he does do it. Now defensively, good game, great game overall. We held the Saints to 16 points, which in the grand scheme of things, 16 points is good, but considering how anemic their offense was, not so good. So Dalton was 20 of 28 for 229 and a touchdown, continued to shred us by throwing it to his slot receiver, which was always Shaheed or Olave. I don't know how to say his name, Olave, Chris Olave. And he was being covered by Zion McCollum, who's horrible. And I get it, he's a rookie. I'm not going to say his career is a wash or anything like that, but he is not ready to be a slot corner. Getting beat, falling down, falling for double fakes, all that stuff. So, sorry, not double fakes, double moves. Not good. But Taysom Hill came in 1 for 1 for 21 yards. On the running game, Ingram had 7 carries for 7 yards. Kamara, 12 for 26. Not much there. Passing game, Shaheed had 4 catches for 75 yards. Olave had 4 for 65. Taysom Hill had 2 for 35 and 1 touchdown, and that touchdown was that 30-yarder. Nobody else had over 30 yards receiving. Pass rush. It seemed like the pass rush was either great, rushing him into throwing bad throws, or non-existent at all. We had 2 sacks total, I believe. Levante David and Carl Nassib each had 1. But yeah, there was so many plays where Andy Dalton was sitting back there for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, and then either he's getting pressured and he's about to get hit and he dumps it off, or takes a sack, or it's wide open and nobody's getting in his face or anything like that. I think our offensive line did the best they could considering the circumstances. The Saints have always had our number by only rushing 4, and with Tristan Wirfs out and Jensen's out, we have a lot of holes. Brady was rushed a lot, but it seemed like when we needed to move the ball down well, or when we needed to move the ball, the offensive line definitely did step up. So wonderful performance. I'm not going to complain about it. Sure, Todd Bowles punting from our 40-yard line when it was like 4th and 7, and we only got a net gain of 20 yards because it was a touchback, or that one was a bad one. I think we should have gone for it in their territory. The other punt where it was like 4th and 10 and he overruled Brady. Hindsight is 2020. Great decision, but definitely in the moment I was mad about that. Byron Leftwich still cannot call plays. Again, Mike Evans doesn't get a target till 2 minutes and some change in the first half. A lot of plays are dump offs, and I get a lot of it was due to pressure, but it's like the first drive, we get inside the Saints 10 and we do a screen. Who does a screen? We do it to Rachaad White and then a dump off to Leonard Fournette and gain 2 yards total, if that, and we don't score. It seems like there's this aversion, and Bowles said it last game that he was afraid Brady was going to throw a pick. It happens. You throw picks. I just don't understand how a defensive head coach who's super aggressive on defense is super conservative on offense. And again, this is a whole different story, but why? That's why I hate defensive coaches. I mean, what defensive coaches have had good offenses? Bill Belichick, he had Brady. Sean McDermott in Buffalo, they have a good offensive coordinator, and it seems like he lets them really move the ball. But other than that, defensive coaches tend to play more conservative and err on the side of caution, which is fine if you can score points. But the thing is, with our team, we cannot score points that well. So why would you err on the side of caution, especially when you need it the most? It seems like Bowles is playing for close games and then having Brady kick in with his late game heroics, it works sometimes, but it's not a recipe for success. I don't think that's going to change now. We're in week 13, and nothing's changed. So yeah, we are now 6-6, first place in the division, a game and a half ahead of the Falcons, who are 5-8. 2 games and a half ahead of the Panthers, who are 4-8, and the Saints now they're 4-9. So what are we? 3 games with all the tiebreakers and things like that. Coming into the season, Brady was, I think, 6-6 against the Saints in his career regular season record, I believe, or maybe it included playoffs. So there was a worry that he's going to have a losing record, is he going to have a tying record? He got swept on this year, that record. I think he's going to finish this season for sure tying with the Broncos, I think 9-9 record in his career. Arizona, he's like 2-2 or 1-1. So we got to take care of business. I will be going to that Arizona Cardinals game on Christmas night. Me and my wife got tickets. Definitely during this game, I was like, yeah, I wasted my money. I spent a lot of money to get lower section tickets on the corner. Back corner by the Bucs sideline. Hopefully we pull off that game. I'm 0-3 at Bucs games. My 3 Bucs games that I've gone to were the first Jameis game where we got blown out by Tennessee. Went to that Thursday night football against the Falcons where Evans had that one-handed catch of the year on the sideline. We got blown out there. That was in 2016 when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. And then the third game was Jameis's final game against the Falcons where we were up and he threw the 2 picks in the overtime thing. So I'm hoping this is all 3 games were in Tampa. This is my first away game, obviously because I live closer to Arizona now. So hopefully we can pull off a win. Arizona's not that good, so I'm excited for that game. I did see a stat. One last stat is this is Tom Brady's 2nd career game where he's pulled off a win after losing by 13 plus in the 4th quarter. The first game being that Super Bowl against the Falcons where he overcame 28-3. The second game was this one. The second game should have been the NFC divisional round game last year against the Rams, but it's a whole different story. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, so our Bucs are now first place in the division, 1.5 game lead. Not a strong lead, but with the way the division's playing, seems pretty safe for now. We still got to take care of business. Now that the 49ers lost Jimmy Garoppolo, next week is still going to be a hard game. We historically suck against backups. They have a really good run game. They have an amazing defense, #1 defense. We're traveling. It's a West Coast game. It's going to be difficult. But if we win that game, and obviously they lose, I think we're 1 game out of the 3rd seed since they'll be winning their division, leading their division. So there's hope to move up. But yeah, thank you, Buck Nation. Just want to give a heads up. Next week, I will maybe not be able to watch the entire game, and my reaction will be a little bit different, probably a lot shorter. I'm going to be out of the country, taking an anniversary trip with my wife to Mexico. That game, I will be trying to watch at the resort and record something very brief. And then the week after against the Bengals, I will probably miss most, if not all, the game because I will be on a flight back. But I'll watch the highlights and try to give my brief review and analysis based on that. But yeah, Bucs Nation, wonderful win. We swept those goddamn Saints finally. And now we are sitting atop, and destiny is in our hands. Let's pull a good one off. Even if we lose to the 49ers, if we keep it close and it's like, okay, we can score on a very difficult defense, sure, I'll feel positive. But yeah, Bucs Nation, thank you for tuning in. And as always, I am out.
Let's go! You a Buccaneer fan, let me know.